welcome to episode 47 of Dunk's Movie Corner or Dunk's Movie Corner Pod or Podcast. Whatever you want to call it, that's what this is. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. If you are new, this is a weekly little recap of what I watched in a week. Either TV, limited series, mostly movies, and my quick thoughts on each little title. I will, again, as I always say, this is a companion podcast to the Movie Bros. So if you're looking for something more long form format as well as an actual discussion between more than just me rambling at you, the Movie Bros is posted once a week where me and my brother pick a movie, watch that movie, and then discuss, ramble, argue, banter, all the things you can think of. We do that, so that's pretty fun. If you're looking for something like that, check that out. Otherwise, you can find me for this podcast, obviously on Spotify, where you're probably listening to it. It's also on YouTube, and it's also on Instagram at Dunk's Movie Corner Pod. With that being said, let's get into it, folks. I believe I ended last week with talking about Mike Birbiglia's The Good Life, the stand-up special. So this week I am starting with Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series starring Ewan McGregor. I have seen this before. The first time through, I was, I don't know, I was not that impressed, but it's been technically almost 3 years since this came out, and I figure, maybe give it another shot. I've been feeling the itch to watch some Star Wars, so I burned through this again, and much, much better on the second time through. I think maybe my expectations are more managed. That being said, I think it is a 6-episode series. The first 2 episodes, which is like him, I mean, it's setting the stage, but it's also a lot of the young Princess Leia stuff when she's a little kid and she gets kidnapped, and that's like the whole like basis for the rest of the plot, which the rest of the plot is actually what's interesting because it's him and Anakin and all that kind of stuff. The first 2 episodes, yeah, they are slow to get through, boy howdy. But the other 4, actually very good. The music is excellent. The scenes, obviously, I mean, you come for him versus Anakin, and that happens several times, and it's excellent. And even some of the Inquisitor stuff is cool. Some of the rebellions stuff that they sprinkle in is cool. So no, it's not as bad as I remember. Obviously, it's still not amazing. I feel like I don't know. They could have done something as like the young Leia story is kind of a catalyst, just to like a vehicle to get them through to all the other stuff. And I feel like they maybe could have just picked a different young person that isn't as annoying. I don't know. Either way, I would call that a very solid 3.5. Like again, once you get through all the young Leia bullshit, pretty good. Some of those lightsaber scenes. I mean, again, if you've seen it, you kind of know which ones I'm referencing, but very, very good as the like nerdy dorky kind of thing. But yeah, from there, and again, that was 2022. I then jumped back to 2015. I don't even remember how I saw either a trailer or something for this, but it's called Digging for Fire. It's only 83 minutes, and it's wow, are there so many different people in this that apparently the director's like, hey, I'm just friends with all these people. This is a super indie, low budget film with almost no script, and they're just kind of fucking around on a California property. So it stars Jake Johnson from New Girl. I mean, again, I don't want to list all these people, but Mike Birbiglia, Sam Rockwell, Chris Messina, Anna Kendrick, Brie Larson, Sam Elliott. Ron Livingston is in this. I mean, again, that's only a few. There are quite a bit. I mean, Rosemary DeWitt, you'd probably recognize. It's just kind of a non-movie almost. I put this on while I'm taking a soak on one of those really hot evenings. I just ran a cold bath and just sat in the tub and watched that. Yeah, it's more or less a marriage where they are away from each other for the weekend, and it's just them realizing that they're not that happy, but then like at the end they're like, I guess we're still gonna be together. I don't know. It's just it felt like sure I how do I word this? I can appreciate a certain amount of improvisation and like letting the actors kind of find their way through the story, but there wasn't enough direction. I would say. I think that was my thought. The music wasn't that interesting. The cinematography wasn't interesting. I don't know. It felt not quite a student film, but definitely not like, oh, this is a. I don't know. It didn't feel like a really like a movie. or I don't know, it feels like something that would be on in the background in another movie where you're not really paying. It's just like background noise for lack of a better word. So I would give this only like a star and a half out of 5. It's not great. From there, I jumped way back to 1989, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was back in theaters for Father's Day. As a family, I went and saw that for Father's Day. And fun little fact, so it was produced by Fathom Events. If you've ever been to like the movie, you'll probably see either the commercials. They kind of do like the cool one-off. Either they bring back old movies, or sometimes they do all the like opera stuff, which I don't know who actually goes to see that. But either way, that's who put on like the production of bringing it back to theaters. And on Letterboxd, like my movie review sort of social media, my review for this literally just said Happy Father's Day. And Fathom Events liked my review, which I was like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. Like the people who put this on are actually looking at this stuff. So I feel pretty famous, just saying. From there, and maybe speak more about it, that is definitely the best of the Indiana Joneses. Sean Connery and Harrison Ford are fantastic. The music, the cinematography, like this is John Williams, Spielberg, Harrison. Like this is all when they are like they've found their stride. And I think I talked to Hayden about this last week on the Movie Bros podcast. But like there are some people in Hollywood that there's not like they are so them. I don't want to say they're themselves, but like it's gonna be really hard to replace. And then like I think it's gonna be pretty like a rough hit when people like Harrison Ford dies, even like Tom Cruise, or if you regardless of whatever you think about his personal Scientology views, but like the dude's like he is a movie star. Like I don't know, there's some people that you just can't really replace. And I definitely thought that throughout this movie because man, Harrison Ford is literally just so fucking good in this. Um, the right amount of Nazis in this. I don't know, like all the indigen like so. I think Hayden and I are going to be reviewing this coming Wednesday and posting it this coming Sunday. So I'd say obviously listen to the full breakdown. But um, yeah, the first Indiana Jones is good. I don't. It doesn't feel. Again, once someone said the whole like even without Indiana Jones, that movie would have ended the same way, and I've never really been able to get over that. I've never overly loved Temple of Doom. I like Short Round, but the rest of the story it doesn't really feel like an archaeological. I don't know. It just doesn't. It feels like a fun movie, but it's not. I don't feel like it's an Indiana Jones movie. And Temple of the Crystal Skull, I think actually gets a lot of a bad rap. I think I've rewatched it, and I think I've enjoyed it a lot more than I used to. Uh, Dial of Destiny, I think, was really not good. He's too old. You got to stop at some point, and the ending for that was too. I don't want to say supernatural, but again, I think we'll talk about this coming week. But definitely, The Last Crusade is my favorite. All the relationships between like him and his father, all the action sequences with the tank. Like, I don't know. It's just this is a 5 out of 5 for me. Very easily given a 5 out of 5. From there, I put on the 1988, so 1 year earlier, The Great Outdoors with John Candy and what's his name? Dan Aykroyd from the Ghostbusters. I put this on at work while I was on my break, so keep that in mind. I had never seen it. Boy, does Dan Aykroyd not. I don't know if he's a good. I don't think he's a good actor. I think he's a fun like slapstick. He almost like the whole movie. It felt like he was doing a like Saturday Night Live skit the entire movie. John Candy has some range. I haven't seen a ton with him in it. And the first thing I think growing up was his tiny little spotlight role in Home Alone when he's in the polka band. It's over time of slowly seeing more and more things. But what I really took away from this movie is like it's basically like a dad who like an outdoorsy dad he's trying to really connect with his kids. So he takes them up to this lodge and all the hijinks obviously, but like so much of this hit so close, I mean scarily close to home where I don't know, like I can see so many parallels between this and the relationship between me and my dad. It's kind of scary. So I don't know, especially as I have grown up, I think I value it a lot differently than I used to. Getting shoved into a suburban, handed a couple comics and like, hey, we're driving across the country to random camping spots to do weird activities like, digging for agates or like random backpacking or horseback, or like very, very cool stuff looking back at it, and like just really, it's just time spent with your kids, bonding. I don't know. It's a movie that is definitely not, I feel like, not meant to be that deep, but for some reason I took it that deep. So that's that. From there, again, I'd probably call that a, I don't know, like 2.5. I mean, it's not a great movie, I'll admit that. But from there, I watched through Ahsoka. So this is another Star Wars, like a limited series. I think they might be making a season 2. I don't know. Starring Rosario Dawson. You would also recognize Ray Stevenson. You'd recognize Mary Elizabeth, God, what's her name? Winstead, the one who's actually married to Ewan McGregor, which is such a cool fact. David Tennant voices someone. It is. I think there's good and bad. So again, I would probably call this a very solid like 3 out of 5. So the good is once it gets going, once it gets into the plot, it's good. It's a little. It doesn't feel. That's the right word. It doesn't feel dangerous enough for me. It feels a little too kiddie. And the other reason I feel like it generally feels like that, but also so much of this plot is dependent on if you were a fan of what's called Star Wars Rebels, which if we're gonna get real nerdy about it, that is a like animated kids show from like 15 years ago. So it's those characters in like a live action sort of sequel ish. So a lot of that, I don't really know enough about to even care. But also, it still feels really kiddie. But on the flip side, once you get past that, just like Obi-Wan, once you get past that, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Like, I kind of like the whole Ray Stevenson as this, like, was in the Jedi Order, is now a mercenary, basically, but still is, like, got a lightsaber, has an apprentice, and their armor is very, like, knight armor, which is pretty cool. And then all the stuff with Anakin, again, I know we're kind of done with the Skywalker saga stuff, but both with Obi-Wan and this, because Ahsoka was Anakin's like a little apprentice Padawan, however you want to word it. But so her dealing with him becoming Darth Vader. This is obviously way nerdy shit, but like uh, him as a Force ghost at the very. So again, I very cool stuff, very not cool, boring stuff. So that's why again I feel it's really fairly in the middle as a 3 out of 5. Not bad, cool stuff, but also not great. I'm hoping maybe season 2, if they do one, it's, I don't want to say better, but better for the lack of a better word. The Imperial General Thrawn that they're like hunting, but also not hunting. His soldiers are cool because they're like sort of undead. I don't know. I like seeing different parts, at least, of like the galaxy in the Star Wars universe, and like good guys or bad guys. Like there are different kinds of stormtroopers. That's always cool to see. And that's kind of how I guess finished my week. And I would say some weeks are heavier than others. If you're new here, if you're not new, obviously you know that. Some weeks there's like 3 things I talk about. Sometimes there's 15. It just really depends. I'm going to be out of town the next couple days for a wedding. And I'm assuming that next episode will probably be fairly light. But we'll see. But that was, folks, that was episode 47 of Dunk's Movie Corner, or Dunk's Movie Corner pod or podcast. If you are curious about any of these titles, Ahsoka and Indiana Jones and Obi-Wan are all on Disney Plus. Digging for Fire, I think I found it on Pluto, free with ads, basically. The Great Outdoors, I believe, is on Netflix, so I'd say check them out if you have any interest, but otherwise, I will catch you all / talk at you, to you, with you, about movies or TV shows, even though, again, I'm not watching a lot of TV these days. Next week.